Hello, fellowship listeners. Adam Hawk here for my friends at Howie's Market, a proud sponsor of this very podcast. Howie's Market is a family-owned and operated specialty grocery store located in the San Gabriel Valley. Howie's Market offers the finest wine, spirits, craft beer, freshest produce, full-service deli, old school butchers offering a wide selection of the best meats. And they were voted, to no one's surprise, the best butcher by Los Angeles Magazine. They barbecue every weekend, rain or shine. They offer whole tri-tip sandwiches, half chickens, a variety of sausages, and the best all-beef hot dogs. I love this place. I love the owners. I love the staff. I love the aesthetics. And I love making time to get up to Howie's Market. Howie's Market is at 6580 North San Gabriel Boulevard in San Gabriel, California. If you are nowhere near the joint and you know you're not going to make it, do us a solid. Give them a follow on Instagram. Show them that their support on this podcast is working. We appreciate it, and we'll see you at Howie's. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final episode of 2024, our best year ever with the podcast, and that is thanks to you, the loyal and fantastic listener. Because of you, we are averaging 2,000 streams every week across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and thanks to you, we have this thing sponsored by Howie's Market, who sees the value in engaging with this audience. My name is Adam Hawk. He is Ryan Engel. We both hope that you had a great Christmas with your family and are now able to unwind and find some much-needed reprieve before the new year forces us all back on the hamster wheel. This isn't a bonus episode per se, as we're putting it out on a regularly scheduled Monday, but we worked ahead to do this because of our schedules after Christmas and before the new year. In other words, what you are hearing now wasn't taped today. It was taped a week ago. We doubled up and put this one in the can so we could still deliver you content in our post-holiday absence. That said, if any big news has broke between the 23rd of December and the 30th of December, we don't know about it. So we're not ignoring a big story if there is one. We're just talking to you from the past. For this episode, we are going to, quote-unquote, empty the clip. We are going to read and answer all the questions we solicited on Instagram, get caught up on YouTube comments, and I am going to clear out the notes on my iPhone where I keep a running log of potential podcast topics. And there's a few on there that I never got to, either because they aren't good enough or we didn't have time. Regardless, all of it will be read right here, right now. So here we go, folks. Let's empty the clip for 2024 and get ready for 2025. Let's start with the YouTube comments from the last couple of episodes that we haven't read in response to our pal Scott Nolan, the host of the Holy Duffer podcast, bringing enough marijuana pot for a month to a one-day golf trip. Johnny Golf Balls writes in, quote, all I'm hearing is that Scott knows where to invest his money for an optimized round of golf.
What does that mean?
Well, Johnny Golf Balls heard the episode where we talked about Scott bringing enough reefer to last a lifetime.
Yep.
And John is saying, hey, this guy knows where to spend his money. And I would partially agree with that, but also Scott Nolan is known for spending his money on a bunch of gear and gadgets and backyard simulators and watches that tell him the shot angle he should hit for certain yardages. None of it has helped.
Yeah, I wish I had a laugh track right now.
And I don't think the marijuana pot has helped either.
No.
But Scott, thank you for calling into our Mary Swankmas show a couple of weeks ago. It was very enjoyable for me to hang up on you.
I was going to say that was a highlight for me too.
Very enjoyable to hang up on you.
Really?
During that show.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm here. What the hell's going on? But, I love being on the Duffy McShaker call-in line.
Yeah, okay. Scott, you have a way with words. Thank you for sharing your gift with all of us tonight. We, too, cannot believe that you're here. We'll give you 30 more seconds.
How many scotches?
Well, the only thing I have to say is,
All right, that's enough of that.
So long. Hey, he tried.
Yeah.
He tried.
Justin, so far you've brought to the show tonight a button-pressing dog and a cell phone with Scott Nolan on it. And Lone Star Mike made this comment this week, but it goes back to an episode from September of 2023, episode 46, entitled Anxiety Adam. And Mike says, quote, "Love to hear mental health conversations. Adam, I understand and applaud your public therapy session. It helped and will continue to help more than just you," end quote.
Cool.
Thank you, Mike. Despite Ryan's insincerity there, I appreciate you getting something out of that episode. That was an important episode for us to do. We've got some great feedback from it, and we're glad to help in any way that we can. Thank you for listening to that and for writing in. If you want to talk offline about it, find me and we can have a more genuine conversation without the presence of my co-host bringing it down.
Oh, gosh. My feelings are hurt.
Thank you for proving my point, Ryan.
Really?
After we had to call an audible a few weeks ago and move a trip from Rams Hill to an Airbnb in the Coachella Valley, Maximilian writes in, quote, "In case you guys need a rental in the future, I have one on the Nicholas Tournament course, right off hole number 5 at PGA West, Ryan's favorite place, and in Ryan's favorite color, beige stucco."
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're allowed to paint them any different over there. But no, thank you. We have some cheeky back and forths on the DMs, and it's a little bit of a slight, but it's all in fun. I wish your place was on Palmer Private, because then I'd for sure take you up on that. But I would say the second place course out there is Nick Turney. Or actually, no, it's not. Nick Private. I take that back. But still cool. I was like, hey, dude, let's tee it up. He's like, oh, I'm not good at that. And I was like, let me tell you, dude. Am I fun to play with, Hawk?
When you're playing well, yes.
Oh, give me a fucking break, dude. Give me a fucking break, dude.
Good news is you're typically always playing well.
Yeah. Okay. Good one, Hawk. Surprised you didn't write that down on a Post-it and just wait for your time to strike. I'm actually proud of you for pulling that out of nowhere.
Continue to leave your comments on YouTube regardless of where you listen. That is typically the only place we pull reaction from. We do upload the podcasts everywhere, but we only pull the reaction from YouTube, and the podcast episodes are over there as well. And thank you to everyone who streamed the Mary Swankman show and left comments about how much you loved it. We love doing it, and we encourage anyone who hasn't watched it yet to go and watch it when you can. Let's move on to some mailbag questions from our Instagram solicitation a couple of weeks ago. Fruits Green writes in, quote, "Bloody idiot is a very common phrase in Australia. Please increase your usage," end quote.
You bloody idiot.
We prefer stupid idiot around here.
Stupid idiot.
Yeah, but bloody idiot's pretty nice.
It's a great one.
Fruits, our good buddy Adam in Australia, when we went out to Catalina on Steve and Mary's siblings' boat, he was with us. He's been a good surfboard customer of mine, and he used to run the Let's Party Traction in Australia, so that's how we all know him really well. And him and his beautiful wife were with us for the weekend. We shared some really fun times, good memories. And I think their highlight from the whole trip is me speaking in an Australian accent the whole time.
Yeah.
I can imagine that they're still talking about it. There's a lot to talk about. I'm quite the chameleon. I definitely start speaking the language everywhere I go, even though it drives my wife nuts that I try to speak pidgin in Hawaii. And if I'm around anyone with a British or Australian accent, I do my best to partake in that.
We love bloody idiot, but I think we favor stupid idiot because stupid idiot is so repetitive and so unnecessary. It's the same two words back to back. There's no reason to ever call someone a stupid idiot.
Right.
Stupid idiot.
Which is why we love it. And again, my wife authored that phrase talking to me about me, and we brought it to the show. Ollinger Drew says, quote, "Will there be Nation bucket hats making a return in the year 2025?
Yes, it's actually on my list. It's on my list. I'm hoping by summer I might have a little summer bucket. But gauging production and delivery times, hard to do for us. We're not designing too far out in advance. We're flying by the seat of our pants. With that comes a little uncertainty on drop dates. We would tell you what we would like to do, but we're at the mercy of others sometimes, and that's just the way it is. But I will say this, really excited. I feel like we're on a little bit of a streak. We've done a great job of continuing to narrow down our angle of attack and our offering, trimming the fat by really staying true to what we're doing, also expanding the offering, but within the correct wheelhouse. And we're getting better all the time. I'm really excited about this coming year. We're going to be a lot more organized this year, which is fun for me because I'm so disorganized. So I'm excited about that. That being said, for the bucket, not sure when, but we are going to do it. And you'll love to hear it.
Joe Corso says, Ryan, I would love to know more about your golf cart. End quote. Before you jump in, Ryan spent time talking about it on the last episode. Not to say that he can't speak about it here, but that golf cart is probably due its own sort of video episode and walkthrough. There needs to be an origin story and history of the golf cart. But for the podcast listeners right now, do you want to talk about your golf cart here briefly?
There's an element to all of this that we do today that is directly tied to that cart. I think the most monumental moments for the trajectory of what Nation Golf is today and our message and our vibe and our ethos from even the tournament. 3 moments, I would say. Deciding to do it, have the tournament, bring it back in my grandfather's honor. That was obviously the genesis. That's the easy one to pick. The second one was realizing, holy shit, I had this logo all this time and didn't know. Huge flick of the light bulb. Oh my God. That's when the snowball started rolling downhill. And then the last thing would be the golf cart. I remember being in a dark parking lot in Palm Desert at a used golf cart lot and looking at Max Dexter going, should I do this? I don't even know what I'm doing. Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to use it? Is this stupid? But I did it from my heart and from my memories of being in those very carts at my grandparents' house growing up. And I'll tell you this, getting that really started kicking that snowball downhill, and that's where it got a lot of steam. Having multiple friends get them, starting a quasi-club out of it, but having that become the mascot, it just enriches the story that was already true about paying homage to my grandfather and saving it. It's everyone's favorite piece. So I think you're right, Adam. I think we need to do a little story on that. It'd be nice to share that, maybe have a little spot on the website to talk about it, because it's more than just a cool card. It's pretty substantial to our story, our vibe, and my history, and tying that all together.
The best part is if we made the video, you wouldn't have to answer the question anymore.
Yeah, totally.
Because you get the question a lot.
I do.
And we are not making fun of you, Joe Corzo. It's a great question because who wouldn't want to know about the golf cart? But because we've received the question so many times, it's time to actually tell the story and be able to point people to it.
Yeah, I'll say this. It's more than just, hey, that's cool, I'm going to buy that.
Have you ever heard someone start a sentence with I'll say this and then not say anything?
I do it all the time.
You say I'll say this and then stop talking?
No, I usually just say I'll say this, and it's something very short.
Doom Luker writes in, any new cigars you are excited to try? The next one.
Yeah, totally. I can taste the difference of what I like, but I've never lit one up and been like, I'm going to put this out.
Right.
I don't like this one that much.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck, this gives me a head change. Well, I'm going to fight through this no matter what.
Chris V31 says, Nation is my ride or die. Been here since Hawk was pimping it on the Jim Rome show. This podcast is family.
Love it.
We love hearing that. That's really great. And Chris, thank you so much for making the jump from my past life to my current life and sticking with us and getting to know Ryan and Nation through it. And for you to call us a ride or die and that this podcast is family to you, that means a lot to me personally. And I know it does to Ryan. But to me, I have always been enthralled with the relationship that a broadcaster of any level, whether it's a Jim Rome or us doing this podcast, makes with the audience. And when the audience feels like they know the host and they feel like there is a family tie there, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, and especially because most of the guys that came from that were complete fucking psychopaths. So we appreciate when there's someone nice and normal like yourself. So cheers to you. Merry Christmas.
We have had to swat off quite a few weirdos from
Yeah.
my past life. That said, Chris is not one of them.
Love it. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Will Schwartz writes in, does Ryan really think he invented the term hot lap?
We already did that one.
He wrote it again.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. He did not. He wrote, what are you most proud of that Nation did this year?
I think having the humility to decide that we need to put a timestamp on the success of this thing and we need to grow the team. I think that's the biggest thing we did this year. And I think discovering our way forward with all that, which was solidified during the end of the Christmas show, I think those two things tied together are the greatest thing, and I can't wait to see what the future brings with all of that, because it's easy to be in business and think about the ones and twos and trying to sell shirts and get traction and look at the numbers. But as we knew from the beginning of all of this whole thing is quite more than that. We had some great moments business-wise and memories-wise, events, this very podcast, things we've touched on. But ultimately, having the ability to put our pride and ego aside to be like, you know what, we need help, we need to grow this thing, and then realizing the direction in which we want to do that. I think those are some powerful things that we're going to look back, hopefully in the near future, that was a real big deciding moment right there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm glad that we could admit to ourselves we've taken it as far as we can go, just the two of us. We need help. We need to build out a team of talented people who do different things than us and who are our good friends and have a like-minded vision and goal. And we're excited to do that. I would also say I'm very proud that we landed the Nation Desert Classic on the front page of the Desert Sun sports section. That was incredible to see the tournament in print media and hold a physical copy of our tournament being written about in a widely circulated newspaper. And then also, this will be true every year, but as long as we are hosting events like the Nation Desert Classic or the parties over here at our shop or even just some Friday hangs in the boardroom, the thing that I will always be most proud about with this brand is it creates friendships between people outside of Ryan and myself, meaning that people will meet each other through this and then they will stay friends long after the Nation Desert Classic or long after they met each other at our warehouse, which is the coolest. And we love hearing that people are on big group messages with each other and staying in touch and talking to each other and becoming good friends. That's great. We said the other day, I think privately and then maybe during the Mary Swankman show, that we are finding out more and more we are not a golf brand, we are a friendship brand. I can die happy with that.
Yep. Same.
Wallace Revel writes in, New Zealand is the ultimate golf holiday.
Really?
We'll take your word for it, and we don't doubt it. The only thing I have to say to what you said, Wallace, is I love that people across the pond or wherever you are refer to vacations as holidays.
Yeah, I do love that.
Yeah, I'm going on holiday.
Very European.
Yeah.
Very European.
Well, I was on holiday.
Yeah.
Mark Ochoa writes in, please do a segment on the best wrist watches to go with your apparel.
Ooh.
Can I field this one?
Go ahead.
Anything other than an Apple Watch.
Yes, please.
Nothing takes the timelessness out of a timeless outfit like a giant-faced digital Apple Watch with a band that you bought aftermarket. I myself wear a vintage $50 gold Casio.
Because you're too cheap to fix the Rolex I bought you. It's all personal preference. I do think that the dive watch, no matter how expensive it is pretty played out. A man who's willing to put a 36 millimeter watch on, I think that shows more macho-ness than one that has to have a big clunker. Dude, you're not going in the water with that $10,000 dive watch. You know you're not. I'd rather have the old greasy car salesman two-tone 36 mil and just wear it with every outfit. That's just my style. Growing up, that's what my granddad and all his pals did. I'm a sucker for the classier ones.
Zach Weber writes in, would you guys ever consider partnering with a cigar company to make Nation Stogies? Yeah.
Send them our way, Zach.
Yeah, Zach, why don't you close that deal and we'll give you a percentage?
Yep.
of one of the cigars they give us.
Yeah.
Cut you off a nub. Chris Torres says, what is your go-to song on the golf course? Chris, we don't have a go-to song. We have a go-to 5.5-hour curated playlist called Swing Lube, which is available on Spotify. And last count, over 1,500 people have that playlist saved on Spotify, which means it's a damn good one.
You love it.
Go listen to our playlist, Swing Lube, whenever you're on the golf course. It will make everyone happy. It will not offend a single person in your group. You can play it loud, you can play it quietly, and everyone will be happier because of it.
Love it.
Skate Locos writes in, quote, highly recommend Basilio's Pasta e Vino in Huntington Beach for dinner.
Noted. With kind regards.
Thank you, Skate Locos, for the dinner recommendation in Huntington Beach. Don't know why we read that during this episode other than the fact that I made a promise when we solicited these questions on Instagram that I would read every single one. So there you go, Skate Locos. Scramblin' Jack writes in, and it's kind of...
Scramblin' Jack, what a name.
It's kind of a long one. What is the negative comment that stuck with you the most? Last week, I posted a video making fun of the monstrosity that was Scotty Scheffler's hooded quarter zip at the showdown, and the comment went viral. 95% of the comments were negative, but I stand by my take, and I know it's not that serious, so they didn't faze me. I actually enjoyed how angry people were over nothing, except one comment I can't get out of my head. A guy called me nasal boy. I Googled it, and it's not a term. He invented it specifically to make fun of me. I don't know if he's making fun of my nose or my voice or something else entirely. Either way, he won because I can't stop thinking about it. What is your nasal boy?
I get a lot of them.
Do you? I feel like everyone...
Well, I used to when Instagram actually put my posts out into the wild. I don't mind the banter. Sometimes it's weird. I hate when you can tell people are actually really upset because then it's like, okay, bro, you're mad at me. I have a satire account that I'm making fun of golf coaches and golf influencers in general. So this is flying way over your head. Me engaging with you is just going to be absolutely not worth it. There's definitely those guys. Ultimately, here's what you need to do, Scrambling Jack. It sounds like you're already doing a little bit. Just don't care. Who cares what these fucking idiots say? I love your take, by the way. And I'll say this. It's so funny when you post something like that, like when Tiger's wearing a tucked-in hooded sweatshirt or what is now the golf hoodie. It's made out of T-shirt material, but it's got a hood on it dangling around. It just looks so stupid. Having an opinion about that going, what's up with this? This is stupid. And it goes viral and 90% of them are negative. All those guys that clap back at you, they're the same guys that use the argument why do you care what someone else wears? Why do you care what I think about it? Do you not see that you're fucking answering your own argument for yourself? You care that I care. Take a fucking lap, pal. Let it live. And by the way, that thing looked fucking ridiculous. And so does Tiger's tucked-in hooded sweatshirt. And why would you have a hooded sweatshirt on playing indoor golf? Is it going to get windy in there? You need to put your fucking hood on? The hood is so stupid. And just because it was a thing for farmers and construction guys doesn't mean that it needs to be on the golf course, dude. Everyone has to have that on because it's cool now and it dresses down the thing. It's like a statement piece. And you're like, cool statement. You have a nutsack hanging off the back of your neck that you never put on your head. Really?
Really?
I don't have a nasal boy specific example to point to, but when I did work on the Jim Rome show, the feedback came in hot and heavy. And
all the time.
A lot of people liked what I did on the show, and then there was a handful that didn't. And I do remember that really affecting me because I felt like whenever I would go on the air with Rome that I was doing a bit where I was dumbing myself down for the enjoyment of the host and the audience. And when people didn't get it and they thought that I was actually severely stupid and would then name call for it, it did stick with me. And I luckily learned, as Ryan said, to stop caring about it. And now I truly don't really care what people say about me, except Nora's dad.
He really gets you, doesn't he?
No, I don't care. He's actually funny to me now. But I understand what it's like when someone comes after you and it's hard to unhear or unsee what they said. I do think that humans have a propensity to outweigh the negative over the positive. If 99 people said something great about you, but one person says something bad, that one person has a lot more weight than the 99. And it shouldn't be that way. Mm-hmm. And no one should care what anyone says about them. Much easier said than done, but a great question nonetheless. We're all caught up on Instagram comments. We're all caught up on YouTube comments. Now I'm going to empty the clip of my podcast notes in my note app. These are takes that we never got to this year that I'm not going to save for next year because, quite frankly,
why would you?
I just don't think they were good enough for the show. But I do walk around with my cell phone constantly making notes and seeing what is worthy of the show.
All right, let's have it.
This note says, mute the commercials, ? You and I spoke about this off air, that both you and I have learned from our dads that whenever commercials come on the television,
mute.
Instant mute. And I wonder if other households do that.
Well, considering that I'm a heavy closed caption guy now.
Yep.
Everything I watch has to have closed captions. Muting the commercials is great because if there's something you actually need to know about, you can read it.
There you go. We do mute the commercials in our household, and we are happier for it. I wrote this down because you said it in the office once. You said, I hope late people are in a car crash. And if you don't remember what this is, I will refresh your memory that we were talking about how punctuality is just something you need to have in your life as an adult who cares about yourself, your time management, and the person that you were going to meet. And you said to Justin Jung and I honestly hope that someone who's running late is in a car crash because there's no other excuse to be running late. So you're hoping that someone who's running late.
I hope they're okay, first and foremost. What I meant by that is late guy is also I'm 5 minutes away guy when he's 15, or I'm passing Stonehill when he's on Camino Cap. Like it's the guy who lies where he's at to make it sound like he's closer than he is, and then he always never delivers. So what I meant by that is car crash in that situation, God willing they're okay, actually shows exactly where they were instead of where they said they were. You know? So it's like, I hope you get in a car crash so I know that you're not on Stonehill, you fucking asshole.
Another thing you said that day was, everything that's cool today, set it to music in 10 years, it will be stupid.
Guaranteed. I guarantee it. You think you're going to be in your old folks' home playing Uno, eating applesauce, with a golf hoodie on? Bet you won't.
I wrote this down for myself, and it just says in my notes app, is your Instagram just a reposting of everything your wife posts? I have friends in my life who anytime they post on Instagram, specifically in their stories, it's just a repost of something that their wife posted.
Yeah.
And I always think to myself, if I wanted to follow your wife, I would follow your wife. Do you have anything to contribute to this app and to your own personal storytelling or point of view, or are you just reposting everything that she posts? And why does she tag you in all of her stories? Are you required by marriage to repop everything that she posts? So I am by default following a lot of my friends' wives because all they do on social media is repost what their wife posts.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it at times for sure. I'll say this. Shout out to Matt Carty's Golf in Your State. We did a trip to Rand's Hill years ago, and we're hanging at the house on the hill afterwards, and it was his thing. He was the content director for the trip. He was the one shooting it and documenting it, and he did like a really cool thing that we were all a part of. And at the end, he like kind of called me out because he's like, what, you're just going to repost everyone's work today, like on the stories or whatever? And I was like, Matt, I'm the talent, brother. You invited me. I don't have a camera.
Yeah.
I'm out here making memories, bro. If you don't want me to repost, I won't. But so now I'm a little more mindful of that. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, less work for me.
To clear things up, I don't mind that people repost things, nor do I mind if people repost their wives' things. I'm merely talking about the person whose only contributions to Instagram ever are their wives' posts. Another note I have in here just says El Dinero Loco, which when I was in the drive-thru at El Pollo Loco and they told me how much 2 tostada bowls cost, I muttered to myself, El Pollo Loco. More like El Dinero, loco. This place is expensive.
Isn't everywhere now?
Yes, but you can understand why that take never made the air in
Yep.
2024. It's
Yep.
not that good.
No.
Another one I have in here is MattelWicked.com. This was a story I saw many months ago that when Mattel issued a Barbie doll for the movie Wicked, they didn't use the URL on the box wickedmovie.com. They just put the URL wicked.com. Are you aware of what wicked.com is?
No.
Neither am I. But I looked it up.
Okay.
It's a pornographic website.
Yikes.
So wicked.com went in front of many, many, many children on many, many wicked Barbie dolls.
Yikes.
We did not get to that story.
Thankfully.
I also wanted you to talk about redoing the roof on your golf cart. We never got to that. And then we bought some string cheese for the office one day, and I wrote down string cheese in my notes because you and I were remarking, who the hell actually peels off the mozzarella stick into string?
Jim Rome listeners.
Another note I have in here that we're clearing out for 2024, so we don't have to take this into 2025. I just wrote, is booze worth it?
Of course it's worth it.
Well, we know you think that. You drink 4 Miller Lights and 2 Fireballs a night. Which, by the way, I was recently on a Christmas light walk with one of my friends who I hadn't seen in years.
I thought you don't have friends in Fullerton.
He was visiting from D.C.
Knew it.
And the first thing he said to me was, does Ryan really have 6 drinks a night?
Fireball shot is not a drink. First of all.
Another note I have in my phone is Nora's dad is funny to me now.
It was funny to me the whole time. I don't know why your panties were in such a bunch.
Another note I have says my dad likes Craig Dunlap the most of anyone on our shows.
More than me?
You guys might be tied, but
Okay.
as far as ancillary characters go, my dad
Ancillary.
is always remarking about Craig Dunlap. I guess I wanted to flesh that take out, but I guess I'm just going to waste it here. This is actually a take that I want us to bring into 2025. My son, Johnny, is very into golf right now. He has his own golf clubs, and we go to the range quite often. I have sent you some video, and instead of remarking about how far along his swing is at the age of 5, you called me a bad parent for allowing him to play left-handed.
Correct.
We are going to get into that in 2025
Okay.
because I want to know more about why I shouldn't be letting my son play left-handed.
Okay.
Okay.
And folks, that is it for the notes in my notes app about observations I make that we potentially will talk about on the podcast. We are all caught up on YouTube, Instagram, and my notes app. The clip has been emptied. The slate has been cleaned. The year is coming to an end. And boy, howdy, we cannot wait for 2025. Here's what we would like from you right now. Give us a little credit. You're getting a podcast 2 days before Christmas on the 23rd, last episode. You're getting another podcast 2 days before the new year. Are there any 2 harder working guys in the content, apparel, and events game than Ryan Engel and Adam Hawk? Give us a little credit.
You love it.
And with that,
We're done.
we will talk to you on January 6th. It's a holiday in the Engel household, but we will be here working regardless. That was an insurrection joke and a damn good one at that. And we will talk to you then.